Hello everyone and welcome to MV Night Swan, a 1988 Hatteras 65C sport fisher with an enclosed flybridge. We would like to share our experiences with you of owning this yacht and maintaining it. So we will try to mix the content between different maintenance and repair efforts we make, as well as our enjoyment of the vessel as well. So we've had this vessel for about a year now, and we have just been so busy with everything that we weren't very diligent about posting video clips. But we did film a ton of video already. So we will use those videos as what we call season 1. And the new content we film from here forward, we will use under season 2 header. So we're going to give you a tour of the vessel now and let you take a look at the yacht from bow to stern and top to bottom, and get a good look at everything and see what it's about. We hope that you find the content valuable and entertaining. If there's something particular you would like to see or know about, please just be sure to message us or let us know in comments. We'll try to cover you. Let's get started. We promised to start at the bow, so here we are on the prow of the bow, actually, or the pulpit. And they call this vessel a 65C, so it is 65 feet at the waterline. The actual overall length is in excess of 70 feet, because clearly from here to the waterline is probably a good 5 feet, and with the swim step it could be as high as 72. But with a large yacht, you definitely want to have the lowest number possible, because in a smaller boat it's fine to call it a 26 from the front to the end without the waterline. But when you have a larger vessel, everything's charged by the foot. So if I could get away with calling it a 60, I would do it. All right, so up here we have a small pennant. We have a cruising association pennant, but we like to have a pennant up here. It's great to show you the direction of wind over the bow. And when you're going to go to dock something like this, it's very nice to know what you'll be contending with, because there's not a lot of room for error here. We have a nice large anchor, a galley-made windlass. There's 400 feet of 3/8 galvanized chain here. We have our anchor tied off. We need to shorten this line still a little bit. We have a backup chain and nylon line, which can be used to throw a second anchor out, or in case we have to dump the rode because it gets stuck on something. Nice little wash down up here. Several cleats and some rope guides, and a pair of fishing rod holders in case you want to drift fish off the bow. Also up here, of course, we've got the escape hatch for the owner's cabin. We have 2 large dock boxes to hold lines and fenders. And moving further back, we have a 10-foot Skipper 10 rigid inflatable boat dinghy with a 30 horsepower Evinrude outboard on it. It's a small boat with a console. We'll get you a picture of that to check out. We've got a Mark Whip electric over hydraulic davit with scoping boom and power swing. Actually, all functions are powered, so you don't have to contend with it with a little bit of roll on the boat. Moving further back, we have the 2 escape hatches for the guest cabin and the crew cabin. And we have a 6-man Revere offshore life raft with the water release. There's also the forward-facing loud hailer speaker. Underneath is the exhaust for the oven and stove blower in the galley. And then moving on up the front, you can see our navigation lights, a forward-facing camera, 2 docking lights, some GPS antennas, etc. You'll notice that the wipers are off. We took them off initially to repair them, and in all honesty, they take up a lot of room on the windshield. And while we were working on them, we put Rain-X on the window, and we just decided that we're probably not going to put them back on because it's so nice to just have the windows unobstructed. And a good coating of Rain-X is done great by us. Of course, you'll have to recoat it and sometimes squirt the salt off on a longer haul, but it just hasn't caused us any trouble. Okay, let's move on back now. This is very loud. I once made the mistake of not checking to see if anybody was over here when I honked this. I will not do that again. All right, welcome to the cockpit area. Incidentally, the vessel has an 18-foot beam. So I know we covered the length, but it is 18-foot beam, and the draft is just under 6 feet. Okay, here we have a few stations here. We've got a nice sink with a bait prep area and a sprayer, which is good for, of course, cleaning up and also cutting and preparing bait when you're fishing. Next over, we have a large chipped ice bin. This chip ice maker has an auger that brings chip ice up with an optical sensor, and it can make up to 450 pounds of ice per day, which we just scoop in. Next over is our hatch down to the engine room, which we will cover shortly. And after that, we have another, just a convenience board here that we placed, and underneath this we have an electric grill, some drink holders. Here we also have a fishing tackle station. Underneath on this side we just have general storage. Both sides have electrical connections, port and starboard, and we also have a dock water input and freshwater hose output washdown. There's a saltwater washdown here and the control for the live well and bait pump. Okay, we have what's called a battle station. This is a really nice piece that we've added to the yacht. The older style fighting chairs took up a lot of deck space, and the position had you leaned back with your arms out, so it was very difficult to lean forward and get your back straight and have better posture. So you have another yacht leaving. Yep. And we have fair lead clips here so that the battle station can control the weight of the rod and not the fisher. So it doesn't pulling on you, it pulls on the chair. 4 rod holders, 2 drink holders, a small bait prep area with drain, and a drawer, a very small drawer here for our most essential tools, hook remover and line cut, etc. Moving back, we have large hatches that go down to the lazarette. And on this side, we have storage for large fish bags. We don't use fish boxes on this boat. We prefer the large fish bags. So we have 30 by 72 inch fish bags. They're huge. So when we catch fish, we pull one up on the deck and tie it off, and we scoop the chip ice in as we catch fish. If we need a second bag, we can pull the second bag up. That gives us an unobstructed deck. Have a nice beer cooler here that drains right over the side. Here is our live well. And we've got blue LEDs in here. There's a tube that drops in there with a top drain, and there's a backup drain on this side with the water coming in at the top to give us a counterclockwise small stir of the live well while we're underway. On our previous vessel, we had the Bernawin system mounts, and we really liked them. They were very good. So we've done the same here. We put 4 of the Bernawin mounts in, These are the locking mount system that lets you put, anything you can want in here. So we actually have a barbecue that drops in here. These are just some little tie-off cleats that, of course, they can't hold the weight of the vessel, but they're great when you're just pulling in to get fuel or something. And we've got 2 across the back as well. So we have rod holders for all these, and we have our downriggers as well. Got a couple of knives and a sharpening stone. We've got a tube here for a fish bat. Everyone knows my wife likes to hit fish in the head. And then here I'll just show you a hatch down in the lazarette. Okay, welcome to the lazarette. I'm going to take the camera down here and show you what's down here. Okay, in the lazarette, we have a battery charger and 2 batteries for the stern thruster. We've got our steering assembly. We have our rudder position indicator over there. And of course the power steering itself. And then we have our trim tab pump. Here's one of the large fish bags we told you about. That's pretty much it. We did a lot of work cleaning up down here. Looks like we've got just a little bit of condensate water building up, but it's essentially dry. Let's go down to the engine room now. Come on down. Welcome to the engine room. Here we have our large battery disconnects. And I guess we'll just kind of work our way forward as we go here. We've got fuel filters for our 2 generators. The fuel filters for the 2 main engines. We've got our 2 Detroit diesels. These are 12V92 TAs. That's a 12-cylinder V configuration engine with 92 cubic inches per cylinder, and the TA references the fact that they are turbocharged. Further forward, we've got our diesel fuel control manifold, one of the DC ship service number 2. On this side, we've got an AC service distribution number 3, and an auxiliary off of that for some additional loads. Here's our engine room blower control panel. This exchanges outside air with the hot air while the engines are running, and of course they swallow a lot of air. We have an intercom system that talks to the pilot house. We've got multiple cameras actually all over the vessel, which we'll talk to separately on another video. Let's see, we've also got our strainers and air conditioner for the air conditioners coming in. We're going to cover the engine room in detail later, but we're trying to give you a quick overview of the boat. So if we turn over to the starboard side here, we've got a new phaser generator. There's actually our barbecue in the storage position. So that's that Burnowin mount. We just unclip that and can clip it upstairs on the side of the vessel when we want to barbecue. And we've got our second generator here. This is an original. It's got more than 3,000 hours and still going. Okay. So, and as always, if you have questions about something in specific in an area, let us know and we'll try to answer them for you. Let's move on. The other area that's considered downstairs in this vessel would be our equipment room. This is just inside the bulkhead from the engine room, but accessed from the inside of the vessel. So this room has our tools, a lot of spare parts, and we have our air conditioning equipment as well. And you can see there's a lot of supplies here. There's also a large GE chest freezer in here for freezing fish. And there's even a vent here from the crew quarters air conditioner to keep this room from getting too hot. We do have a fan here, which we can run to exhaust air. There's a camera, and all rooms in the vessel mostly have both AC lighting and DC lighting, so that if you lose a generator, you always have DC lights to choose from. There are some, of course, access panels here, and we have probably this is our lowest bilge in the boat. And we always check in here to make sure that there's no water. That would be our first indication that we've got a leak somewhere, is water would slowly converge down there. During the times of the year when there's a lot of temperature, highs and lows, variances day to night, it's just natural for a fiberglass vessel, and I would say any vessel, to make condensation inside, which slowly drains down. You're just going to make that. But the cheap and easy test of that is just to dip your finger in it and taste it. If it's not salty, everything's okay. All right, let's move on. Let's come on up to the fly bridge. Don't fall off the ladder while you're climbing up with the camera, okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is our fly bridge area, and it's a very nice place that's protected even in rougher weather from both splash from rough seas or rain. So this can be a nice area to hang out. Of course, we've got a throwable up here with a line attached to it. We've got several fishing rod holders. We use 2 to put our colors up. And we, of course, have some spare rod holders here as well. There's storage for various rod holders and accessories that we use when we're fishing. We have access to the top of the boat up there. We've got a fly bridge control station that has, of course, your wheel, your throttles, your transmissions, tachometers. You can start and stop the engines. And there is also thruster controls up here as well. We have our mandatory bell. This is required to have one of these if you do not have a secondary signaling device for the fog, and we have a device inside a loudhailer that we use for that. Here we have rear-facing lights that shoot directly from the side back to a 45-degree angle behind the vessel. We've got a outside speaker for the VHF radio and part of our loudhailer system as well on the other light. Let's go on into the pilot house. As I like to say, this is where the magic happens. So we have spent a ton of time up here working on this vessel that we tell you it was in need of some TLC. And we reconfigured a few things, but we'll do the quick, this one deserves a video all of its own, but we'll do a quick around the room here and let you see what we've got going. All right, come on in. And we'll start off with air conditioning controls right here on the wall. A nice raised seating for your guests with a footrest down here. 2 chart drawers, storage drawers for different devices. Nice portable cup holder. We keep our spotlight on the handy. Another security camera. We've got a collapsible mount here for an iPad, which my wife uses when we're out on the water, and she wants to put her iPad in here and has a Bluetooth keyboard to help us locate the next place we're going to want to tie up for the night when we're underway on a little cruise. We have our loudhailer system here. This is a NEMA 2000 scanner. This device will report on any device that's on the NEMA 2000 network, which is very nice. I use it for a number of features. We have 4 multifunction displays. Now your initial reaction might be, why do you need 4? Well, we use them for a lot of different things on the vessel. This one we primarily use to show us the security camera system. There are 12 security cameras, CCTV color with night vision as well. And that lets us see basically all the way around the vessel and inside. And that lets us monitor everything because there's a lot to keep an eye on. And so that one is almost entirely committed to that purpose. The loudhailer being next to it is very handy because we can pick this up and we can talk forward, talk to the back, talk to both speakers if we want, and it has listen back as well, so we can listen. The 2 intercom stations are in the salon and the engine room, as you saw, which can page the person up here to let them know that you want to talk to them. and you can talk back and forth. It has the same talk and listen back capability, which is very convenient because the person that wants to speak to you doesn't have to push anything or pick up anything. They can just talk towards the speaker and you can hear them. So that's very handy. This next one I use primarily as one of my charts. Generally, this is the one I navigate with. And I've got the two VHF radios as we move along here. This chart I will also use to navigate, but I'll either zoom it or I'll pull the chart forward to see where we're going to look for a specific point of interest to send us to without interfering with this one, which gives me my primary information for what I'm doing. Our thruster controls are up here as well. We have our systems monitor, the windlass control. This is the button for the center wiper that wipes the center wipers one time. We, of course, don't have those on right now. Emergency air shutdowns for the engine. Our two docking lights, which can be controlled individually. Our stereo control, and we've got the can lights above. We can control it. We have a DC distribution panel here. We moved all of the switches that were scattered around the dash into one location here. We have a nice backup depth sounder, so this is completely isolated from the rest of the system, and it shows you that there's 3.3 feet or so under the keel right now. So the tide's out and there's only 3 feet underneath us here where we're at. We have an old 4212 MFD here. This is not a touchscreen, and in really rough seas that can be very nice to have. It's difficult to use a touchscreen when you're bouncing all over the place. So we've decided to leave that, and we leave it usually in a 3D perspective of what we're looking at. We have our analog instruments, bilge pump controls. We've got blowers, battery parallel horn, nav and anchor lights, instrument lights, dimmers, trim tabs, engine controls for each side in a group here. And this is our autopilot. So the autopilot was over onto the side and I moved it here. There was originally an old rudder angle indicator underneath this point, but those parts for that are long gone. I was unable to find them anywhere. So we went ahead and I moved it over here, and it's very handy because you can just literally steer the vessel with this knob. 1 to 10 is 1 degree to either side. And of course our compass, pair of fans that are very nice to keep you cool because the air conditioning vents are to the side. And I padded these boards because I kept hitting my head on them, which is not fun. So we took care of that. These are all the wiper and washer controls. Moving on over, we do have a large enough settee here that you can actually sleep on, and that's saying something for me, which is great. And we have a bunch of storage for life jackets underneath. Our two colors for what we post when we're underway, and that is a cellular T-Mobile internet, which works great for this thing. Wherever we go, it just connects to the nearest cell node whenever we're along the coast and gives us access. That's a quick overview. We'll have to come back and go through this in depth later. Let's go all the way to the top just for a second to cover what's up here. Okay, up here we've got a large open array radar, good for 72 miles, a pair of GPS antennas. We've got, of course, two large VHF and then a shorter whip for our close-in, like bridge traffic VHF. We have a FLIR camera and our all-around light at the top up there, and then we've got these two halyards for pennants. Let's continue our tour now into the salon. Okay, so we've got a nice large full beam salon here, and large sectional, and we've got two old sailfish chairs that have been recovered that we use in here. They make a nice touch, little fishing flair to it. We've got a nice emblem there that's been actually carved by a friend of ours for the Night Swan. And moving on around, we've got a storage area. We have multiple dehumidifiers, actually 5 on the yacht. We have a 60-inch TV, and when we're not using it to stream video or something, we've got it connected to our CCTV system, which we can check anytime and monitor. And we've got all of our distribution here. A Street distribution is here. And on this side, we've got our DC distribution over here. Got a nice closet to hold vests and various items back here. Moving forward, have a nice mess that'll fit 6 people. Moving over onto this side, we have our full galley with a full-size refrigerator, full range and cooktop, microwave, storage, a splendid washer dryer combo, large deep sink, nice block there, and additional storage. Having a full-size refrigerator is really a nice thing to have. Okay, moving down, we've got some more storage. And come on down to the cabins. Here we have our crew cabin, and this is a nice split bunk design so that you don't have anybody over your head. So just the foot space of the lower bunk is underneath. Plenty of storage here as well. Another dehumidifier. Here we have a full head and shower. And then we've got the access to the equipment room, which we actually showed earlier. Moving forward, we move into the guest cabin. Guest cabin is a split bunk design. Again, plenty of storage underneath all the way around. And once again, another full head and shower in here. Pretty spacious. Finally, we move into the owner's cabin. Got a nice large center queen, plenty of storage, closet, as before, another dehumidifier, actually one in each cabin. Another flat screen which can has a DVD player, streaming video, and also access to the CCTV system. More storage above, access to the chain locker all the way forward, fishing rod storage all above, and a full bath, shower and whirlpool bathtub in this head. And that's pretty much it. Enough space to share, and certainly a lot to keep up with. Hope you enjoyed the tour.